Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
We begin at 5 with dozens of bullets fired at a home, leaving windows shattered. A home, a mom, and her children running for cover, and now a teenager is in the hospital right now with serious injuries. That shooting in southwest Detroit has left neighbors in this area shaken and worried.
And families here on Campbell Street are telling us they are concerned for good reason. Police have not identified the shooter yet, and they want to know why that house was ambushed and whether the teen was the intended target. Local 4's Damon Fernandez spent the day on that street. He has the very latest on the investigation.
That shooting happened right here at this house. You can see every window on the lower floor riddled with bullets.
Caller said her house is being shot up. Caller said that the brother was shot through the home.
The house at the corner of Campbell and Eldred is all covered in Halloween decorations, but it's the violent shooting that happened here late Wednesday night some neighbors are calling the real nightmare.
I heard the closest gunshots I've ever heard in my life, like 100 of them, just went off all like just over the course of like a minute.
This neighbor named Tony agreed to share what he heard if we didn't show his face. What we can see, every window on the side of the house where the shooting happened is damaged from bullet holes. Police say a teen inside the home was injured. The gunman behind the chaos remain on the run.
I remember him yelling two specific things. One, his height, he kept saying he's 5'5", and the other thing I kept hearing him say was, he hurt my family, how am I supposed to react? He kept saying that over and over.
Police arriving to the area were calling for tourniquets as they canvassed the area searching for 4 men described by witnesses as being dressed in black clothing.
It's kind of concerning because like over the past decade it's gotten much better with gunshots. You know, I hear them a lot less and less, and then for so many to just be heard one night, it was kind of like, is it really getting better, or is it like, how's it really doing?
The victim's home does have surveillance cameras surrounding the place, yet this shooting has neighbors considering beefing up their own security measures.
Maybe get a camera around, just be more vigilant, you know, because this could have been us, like we're right here.
And right now, police are still actively investigating the shooting that happened right back here at this house. If you have any information about it, you're urged to call Detroit Police. In Southwest Detroit, I'm Damon Fernandez, Local 4.
All right, Damon, thank you. And our attempts to reach out to the victim's family were not successful. A neighbor says the teen is still in critical condition.
Breaking right now, Hamtramck City Council member accused of election fraud is one step closer to trial.
For months, the investigators and Local 4's Lauren Kostick has been digging into the turmoil inside Hamtramck City Hall and every wild accusation and criminal charge that has followed. Lauren Kostick joining us live from the newsroom now with this breaking development. What's the latest, Lauren?
Yeah, Ty, Local 4 has just confirmed a judge ruled there is enough evidence that Councilman Muhammad Hassan forged an absentee ballot application in 2023. I just spoke to a source close to the case about what happened in court today, and I learned prosecutors believe Hassan filed an application under the name of Zarin Sultana, claiming he helped her submit it. But Sultana testified she never asked for a ballot, never signed the form, and doesn't even vote. A Michigan State Police handwriting analyst found that the signature on the application was not hers. The judge said Hassan clearly signed off, knowing Sultana had not. And Hassan faces multiple felony charges, including election fraud, forgery, and false statements on a ballot application. This case is part of a larger investigation into alleged election misconduct at Hamtramck City Hall. Another Hamtramck council member, Mutasin Sadman, is also facing election fraud charges. He's due in court Monday for a preliminary hearing. And those charges stem from a 2-month investigation led by a special prosecutor after the Attorney General asked for a review into allegations that Hassan, Sadman, and others tried to submit absentee ballots from newly naturalized citizens.
So much to cover, Lauren. You have been on it. Thank you. We know you've worked on dozens of stories about what's happening in Hamtramck. This is just the latest. Where can we find all those investigations?
Yeah, Ty, there is so much. Right now, we've posted everything on clickondetroit.com. You can just head to the homepage, search the keyword Hamtramck, or scan the QR code right here on your screen.
All right. Thanks again, Lauren.
Our other top story today at 5, a mother and son now charged with murder in the death of 17-year-old London Thomas.
Prosecutors say Jalen Pendergrass and his mother, Charla, are both facing second-degree murder and evidence tampering charges. Thomas was found dead inside a bin in an SUV in Southfield back in April, 2 weeks after she was reported missing. Police say she had been dropped off at her boyfriend's home in Inkster the day she disappeared. Both Pendergrasses are expected in court tomorrow morning. We'll have much more on this arrest coming up at 5:30 tonight.
Also here at 5, the owner of a Clinton Township business where an explosion sent projectiles flying into the air, killing a 19-year-old, is headed to trial.
This was scary when it happened. Prosecutors say the owner, Nor Costow, stored 70,000 pounds of nitrous oxide canisters at the building, something they say he knew he was not allowed to do. J. Scott Smith joins us now to break down the charges.
More than 18 months after that devastating explosion, and after months of hearings and delays, there appears to be enough evidence for this case to head to trial.
I do believe that the people have established probable cause the crime was committed, and they have established probable cause that Mr. Kestu committed it.
31-year-old Nor Kestu sat stoically in the courtroom this morning as he was told he would be bound over to circuit court for involuntary manslaughter. It's the result of the horrific fire and explosion more than 18 months ago on March 4, 2024 at the Goose Smoke Shop near 15 Mile in Groesbeck. Thousands of containers of gas along with knives were stored inside the building. The debris field stretched at least a half mile in every direction, according to county officials. 19-year-old Turner Lee Salter was standing at a car wash a half mile away from the explosion when he was hit in the head by flying debris and later died at a hospital. Kestu was caught at JFK International Airport in New York City attempting to flee the country for Hong Kong and eventually brought back and charged with manslaughter when he arrived in Michigan. Multiple witnesses testified during the preliminary hearing on May 22nd, and that included an employee who claimed that there were weird incidents happening that led to the explosion. Another witness, a Clinton Township fire inspector, testified that butane and nitrous oxide were not in the building when he previously inspected it 2 years earlier. Clinton Township Planning and Communication Director Bruce Thompson testified that Kestu's warehouse was not supposed to be in that retail district. Currently, all that remains of the complex today is the GU business sign, while the factory itself is now a vacant lot.
Macomb County Prosecutor Peter Lucido says that the decision to bound this case over shows the level of seriousness of the evidence in this trial. That involuntary manslaughter charge, by the way, carries a 15-year sentence, and the arraignment is set for November 3rd at 41B Circuit Court. I'm J. Scott Smith for Local 4.
Now to the startling new evidence in the case of a pastor who calls himself God's best friend. Tonight we're learning how the feds say David E. Taylor ruled over his followers with an iron fist. Taylor is accused of using forced labor at call centers to raise money, and the new evidence today includes memos sent to those workers saying things like, change permanently or die. And then there's this one. It says, take away food now. And then this one, every single person must now be raked over the coals. Taylor, along with Michelle Brannon, are charged in the multi-state scheme to raise money at call centers to fund their lavish lifestyles. Brannon is currently out on bond, living in a home in Northville. Taylor is due back in court tomorrow for a detention hearing.
Live pictures here of the White House tonight. The president now says he plans to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. That comes after a phone call between the two today that lasted for 2 hours. Meantime, here at home, the government shutdown is now in its 16th day with no end in sight. NBC's Gabe Gutierrez is in Washington, D.C. tonight with the latest.
It's day 16 of the government shutdown with no end in sight. But President Trump this week offering to help a political ally.
He's MAGA all the way. It's make Argentina great again.
Trump warmly greeting Argentina's president, Javier Milei, at the White House, promising a $20 billion bailout for that country's struggling economy. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying the U.S. will exchange U.S. dollars for pesos, and the money will be paid back, though he gave few details.
When we can help our neighbors, we're making tremendous progress in South America.
Now Bessent says the administration is working on another $20 billion to help Argentina. And it's that extra bailout that has even some Republicans crying foul.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. You essentially have to borrow the money from China to send it to Argentina. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Georgia Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Trump ally, taking her anger to social media, writing, with Americans getting decimated with a high cost of living, how is it America first to bail out a foreign country? Democrats accusing the president of caring more about Milei than the health of the American people during the government shutdown.
Rather than fix the health care crisis devastating Americans here at home, Trump's doubling down on sending $40 billion to a right-wing MAGA strongman in Argentina.
The Treasury Secretary says the extra $20 billion will come from the private sector, not taxpayers. But Argentina has defaulted on its debt obligations 3 times over the past 25 years. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, Washington.
Thanks, Gabe. And this just in, former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton has been indicted. The federal charges come from his handling of classified information.
Well, a Canton Township man is charged with stabbing 3 of his family members.
Derek Al-Somali is being held on a $3 million cash bond. He's accused of stabbing his mother, his sister, and his brother at a home on Park Lawn Drive. This was on Tuesday. They're all in serious but stable condition, we're told. We still don't know the motive for the stabbing. Al-Somali is expected back in court October 24th.